So growing my own tobacco plants. So I've sowed my seeds the 19th of April, which is actually quite late. Got them to germinate, and now, most of the plants have been sitting outside for I think like 3 weeks now, some 2 weeks. So and it's going quite well. I'm growing them in pots, and I know I have a lot of open space here. Actually, I should actually put them in soil because these plants actually grow quite big. And my pots, as you can see, aren't nearly big enough to support tobacco plants. So that is also something I have to keep in mind. And I'm probably going to transplant them when they outgrow their pot sizes, or their pot size. How do you say that? But there are actually only 4 things you need to grow tobacco. It's actually quite easy. They need full sunlight, so it's ideal now. They need sunlight, ample warmth, big enough pots, which I don't have. I need to fix that problem. Enough water, so I need to water them not every day. I do it every day, but you just need to give them enough water, especially in hot weather like this. And you need to give them enough fertilizer. So I use like those pink pebble fertilizer things. I'm going to put it on the screen what the nutrition values of those are, because I don't know that by heart. So quite easy actually. The only thing that is difficult about growing tobacco so far, I've never done it. This is actually my first time. Yeah, actually my second attempt, to be honest. But the most difficult thing is to get these tobacco plants to germinate. You need to start them on your window sill. How do you say that in English? I have no idea. Near the window. Get them to germinate, and that's actually the most difficult part. And then let them grow, and then put them outside. But I made the mistake of putting them in full sun the first week, which was a very bad idea actually. Because you need to, when you put tobacco plants outside, like your seedlings, your very tiny seedlings outside, you need to put them in the shade actually. Otherwise, they're going to wilt and they're going to get sunburned, because if you have those very small seedlings, they can't withstand the sun. Which I learned that the hard way actually, because some of these plants, actually they have recovered quite well, but some of these plants like this one has these ones have a bit of sun damage, but it doesn't really matter because it's only the bottom 2 leaves and they're going to wilt away anyway. So, but you need to put them in the shade the first week to acclimate them to the weather, so they can so your tobacco seedlings can acclimate to the weather. When they get a big barrier, then you can put them in full sun like right now. It's going quite well. This is my largest plant actually, so it's like the plant, this leaf size as big as my hand. So they've grown quite big in those 3 weeks of being outside. It's actually perfect weather for this. So I'm going to keep you updated, because last year I also tried to plant and grow tobacco in my garden, but it actually failed because I used the wrong fertilizer on my seedlings and then they all died, and I think the seeds were a bit not of the best quality. So I've purchased them on Amazon from some German guy. And those seeds were actually quite nice, because as you can see, this is a Kentucky. I'm growing 4 varieties. Kentucky. This is Kentucky. This is Golden Virginia. This is Oriental tobacco. You can see because the leaf is like a bit more pointy actually than the Kentucky. Is more broader, like less pointy. What did I say? Yeah, Virginia, Orient, Kentucky, and then I also have burley right here. I'm also growing burley. I really like this plant as well, and they're growing nice and steady. But my next video will probably be, because I'm documenting this, the next video will probably be me transplanting them in larger pots, because tobacco plants need quite large. If you're going to grow them in pots, they need to have enough space for their root systems, and these pots aren't nearly big enough for those plants to comfortably grow to a large size. So I've asked some American that also grows them in pots on YouTube, and he said 5 gallons which means absolutely nothing to me because I'm European. So 5 gallons is 18 liters, I think, 18 to 20 liters, which is quite big pot, you know, quite a big pot. So I need to buy those pots and then buy enough potting soil again, put them, transplant them in. That will probably be my next video, but for the moment being, I'm just going to let them grow in these tiny pots, which I know aren't big enough, but well, if you look at this Kentucky, it's doing quite well actually. So that will be my next video and my update on my series, which I started last year on growing tobacco, which failed, but this year I think I will have more luck. And then of course my last video will be like harvesting the leaves, because yeah, of course, growing tobacco, why do you grow tobacco? Well, to harvest to harvest the leaves and to make your own tobacco, right? That is the whole point of this actually. But yeah, they also are quite aesthetic plants in my opinion, so I'll keep you updated. Homegrown tobacco in pots. Maybe next year I'm going to like plant them in the soil, which is actually way better, but I was a bit lazy, so I didn't do that. But next year I'm going to plant them in full soil, which is actually more recommended way of doing it. I heard also that you can plant them in just potting soil bags, that you don't even need to buy pots, which I'm probably going to do. I'm just going to transplant them into one big bag of potting soil, like my best plants, because some of them are quite small actually, but they've only been outside for 10 days, so some of them have been outside for 3 weeks, like this guy, so which has grown, yeah, pretty well, pretty nice. I'm quite pleased about that, but that is the plan. I'll keep you updated, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Goodbye.